Okay, so here we go with another Marvel Legends review, and this is WandaVision Scarlet Witch. I'm so excited about this one because you know, uh I'm been a big fan of the character since I was a kid, and a little bit of a fan of Elizabeth Olsen. You've been to my Facebook page, you know I like to post pictures of her occasionally because I'm a big fan. But I hadn't bought any of the figures from this wave because I wanted to get her first. And part of that was because she was the figure that I wanted the most anyway. But part of that was also because, like, I didn't want to start trying to put together this Captain America until I was sure I could get all the pieces. And I knew that Wanda was going to be the hardest one to find. And I was right because I've never seen this figure at retail. And I haven't seen the figures very often at retail anyway because they didn't order enough of them. Like, they didn't order enough Spider Man figures either because those pretty much vanish instantly. They ordered enough Eternals because those freaking things are still hanging around. But, but, but they did not order enough of the Disney Plus wave. So out of these, the only other one that I had was Loki. And even then, I bought the Loki figure so that I could use it to make a custom. So I just got that loose on eBay. I didn't actually buy the actual figure. So I guess now that I have Wanda, I'll try to get the rest of the figures now, since I know that I have that one piece. And probably now some other figure will be really hard to find. Like I won't be able to find like Baron Zemo or something. But maybe I should make him the next on my list. But you know, I'm a huge fan of Captain America. Captain America is my favorite Marvel character, and we're talking the Steve Rogers version of Captain America. So he's not actually in this wave because he's retired now. But I really liked the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, and it was a good way to carry on his legacy and introduce the new Captain America, who's Sam Wilson. And the Build-A-Figure actually is Sam Wilson because all the extra parts, rather than building another figure, they go to actually making his wings. And I didn't want a Sam Wilson Captain America without wings, obviously. So that's why I was waiting on him. So he'll probably actually be the last figure I buy once I'm sure I've got all these little wing bits. So yeah, that's how that's gonna work. So let's go ahead and take Wanda out of her package, and we will see if this figure was worth the wait for me. So there's a piece of tape right here, and it's right on the edge, so I'm trying to get it. There we go. And you know me, I always try to take these out as gingerly as possible. Even though I'm not keeping the package, I don't know, it's just a weird quirk I have that I try not to mess up the package either. I might keep this package though because it's got lots of like nice pictures of Elizabeth Olsen on the. It's actually the same picture on each side, but I'm not going to complain. And her Scarlet Witch outfit, which you know, as I mentioned in the review I did of the Titan Heroes series, whatever they call that. I was really disappointed that she didn't have a costume when she first appeared. Well, I guess in the first movie it was okay because she wasn't really a superhero yet, but I kind of figured at least by her second appearance, she should have had a costume. It should have been established by that point. So I was disappointed it took them so long to get her into the costume, but once they did, it was worth it because she looks fantastic. So yeah, let's go ahead and read the back here. I'm only going to read it in English because it's in 15 different languages again. Wanda Maximoff's abilities of telekinesis, energy manipulation, and neuroelectric interfacing allow her to read thoughts and give her targets waking nightmares. So, doesn't say a whole lot about her other than, you know, describing her powers, but hey, that's something, I guess. Alright, so we got Wanda out of the package. We can get a better look at her. It is a fantastic likeness of Elizabeth Olsen. The paint applications aren't quite as creepily realistic as that Titan series figure. So it looks like I'm gonna have to paint on my own beauty marks because I don't really see them. Maybe the lighting just isn't the best in here, but whatever. Alright, so her accessories that she comes with is, of course, the aforementioned Build-A-Piece for Captain America's wings. And I'm going to set that over here. And as I buy these figures and I'm collecting the wings, I'll set those aside and put them on Sam when I eventually get them. We got a glowy hand to represent her casting some magic powers, and one for each wrist. And it'll be interesting to see if those are the same sculpts as what's actually on the hand, or if they went through the trouble of making different sculpts. And again, no rubber bands, no twist ties, nothing to mess up my figure. Thank you, Hasbro. I appreciate that. Let's have a look at the background of the package real quick. That's kind of interesting. There's not really a piece of artwork or a symbol or anything like you might expect, but they did have the background that looks kind of like a television screen on the fritz. You can see like little. It's Scarlet, of course, because she's the Scarlet Witch. But you can see how there's like little flaws in the waves. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but like almost little zigzags in kind of random places, which makes it look like a television on the fritz. And what better metaphor for our Scarlet Witch than a television on the fritz? So let's have a closer look at her. And she's gorgeous. They did a great job with the likeness. Looks just like her. Like I said, the paint apps aren't quite as creepy as the other one. The skin tone's kind of on the pale side, but to me that's okay. She's a Scarlet Witch, so she should look kind of gothy a little bit. So, and these paint applications, to me, that's about what you want, where they're perfect. They get across the character. Look at her cheekbones. Actually, I think that's the shadow from the tiara, which is this is a little different from the headpiece that she actually has in the show. Like you can see, it's got a lot of the same detail, but it's a little more chunky, a little more substantial. I think looks a little more accurate to the comic book than the one on the show actually did. But I'm never going to complain about comic accuracy. You know, it's like that. As far as I'm concerned, that's an improvement. I wish her tiara in the movie actually looked a little more like that. Lots of good detail on the bodice, which all this stuff they have etched into it on the show. Unlike with the Titan series, which you can expect, there's a lot more paint apps here, and they actually got the little bits of skin showing through her collar, like I was talking about. Lizzie was a little prudish about wearing, the costumes that showed off her cleavage. That's her decision to make. I'm not trying to give her a hard time, but it does do a little more coverage than her costume in the comics as far as that goes. So a little bit more modest, but it doesn't really matter. I still think it's a very, very attractive looking costume, and she wears it well. So I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing it out. So don't at me with a bunch of angry comments about how I'm a sexist pig. I know I'm a sexist pig. I I make no bones about that. So you're just belaboring the obvious. So let's have a look at articulation, and it looks like these are not double elbows like you often see with Marvel Legends. They are just like a simple ball joint, it looks like. But man, look at that range of motion there. Like, you could really bring her arms up. This is a character that is going to live and die by her arm articulation, because you want to be able to get all those funky sort of spellcasting poses. And this joint seems a little stiff. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to kind of gently try to bring it into position, and that worked out pretty well. And let's see. I'm going to try. Look at that. Look at that. That is a perfect sort of spellcasting pose where, like, it looks like she's weaving something. Man, this is a gorgeous figure. This was definitely worth the wait. Look at the skirt and how it hangs down here. And, she's got some nice hips to her. And that's kind of hard to pull off when you have a skirt over a figure like that, because a lot of the times, like, they wind up overcorrecting and making it too skinny. Or, oftentimes it's like kind of badunkadunk, you know what I mean? I'm not complaining about that. But this is perfect, realistically proportioned. She's got like uh some red stripes on her pants. Unfortunately, there's this little marker here with this serial number that's marring the effect, which for some reason they chose to put towards the front of her thigh rather towards the back, where it would be hidden. So, shame on you for that, Hasbro. You guys got to be more careful about that. So, whoever your factory foreman is probably deserves a talking to about that. She's got what seems like fairly standard Marvel Legend articulation in the legs, double jointed knees, got a rotation up at the upper thigh, nice rocker ankles, gonna give us some nice posability. Her boots are very practical, not high heel pumps like oftentimes superhero women wear. They almost have kind of like, to me, like a Doc Marteny sort of feel to the sole, but unfortunately, treads sculpted into the bottom. I don't know. I didn't really look at the Scarlet Witch's boots that much in any of the pictures. I was more distracted just by looking at Elizabeth Olsen. But I don't know how accurate those are, but I think it would be cool if she had kind of like Doc Marten type boots, because she did wear those earlier in her non-costume costume. I think it would be a nice carryover. Obviously, she didn't wear those in the comic books because she wore the kind of high-heeled superhero boots I was talking about. In fact, I was getting this. The news arrived from Amazon today. I finally found one for close to retail price, which I was excited about. I do have the comic book style Scarlet Witch here. This is I think the first one that Hasbro did. Like the original Marvel Legends that Toy Biz did of the Scarlet Witch was just absolutely terrible. Like, it had a nice head sculpt, but the body was just weird and ill-jointed and weirdly proportioned, and I don't know what they were thinking. But this one is pretty much perfect. So I already have like a really great comic accurate Scarlet Witch. I think they've done a few more versions since then. Like, I know that there was one that came in a 3-pack with Magneto and Quicksilver, and unfortunately I missed out on that one because it was expensive, but they re-released that same sculpt as a vintage card figure, and I think that one has a different paint application. Like I think one of them has like a more of a matte pink on the legs and the shoulders, and the other one has more of a metallic pink. This one you can see has pink at the thighs, but it's flesh colored up at the top, which is how it's colored in the comic sometimes. Sometimes it's flesh colored at the top, and sometimes it's pink at the top, which makes it look like she's wearing like a full pink bodysuit with a red bodice over it. And personally, I've always interpreted that as being like kind of a not necessarily like a pink fabric, like pink spandex or something, but more like a sort of a sheer red fabric. So she would have this sort of almost like pantyhose kind of like bodysuit from her neck to her, I guess it would go all the way down to her feet. And then she'd have like the bodice and the boots and the long opera gloves over it. This is how I like to have her posed, with her hand kind of on her hip. And usually, when I have her on the shelf, I have her with her arm out like this, because I like that for like a spell casting pose. But yeah, I already had the comic book accurate one, and I was really happy with her. But I knew once I saw WandaVision and she had finally her proper superhero outfit at the end. I'm gonna raise her arms up a little bit so you can get a better look at the figure. Once she had this proper superhero outfit at the end, I knew that this was going to be an action figure that I was going to want, and I was right. She's fantastic. This has surpassed my expectations. Like in all of my searching for this figure, and hoping that I would find her at retail, and then finally finding a decent price for her on Amazon, I kind of thought to myself, as you often do when you're just kind of like obsessively questing for something, I kind of thought to myself, she might not be worth all the hype. I might finally get the figure and, look at it and be like, you know what, it's not that great. The likeness is off. The costume's missing some of the details. The paint applications are weak. But no, every once in a while, you have a figure that's like your holy grail figure that you're searching for, and then once you finally find it, it's just perfect, and you have no problems with it. And that's my take on this figure. Is like, this is a figure I'm really happy with. I pointed out some things that were kind of inaccuracies just because, like, I'm trying to be objective about it. But none of those things bother me. I don't mind that she has, like, skin that's a little bit paler than it should be, and I don't mind that, like, the tiara headpiece, whatever you want to call it, is like a bit thicker than what it is on the show, because I think it actually looks good. They should probably make the one in the movies look more like this one, because I like this one. I will complain about this stupid stamp. This needs to go. And that's going to get a little visit from the acetone theory once this show is over. I'm going to just get a Q-tip and just real quick, little, maybe xylene. That might work better. I don't know. What do you think, acetone or xylene? One of those two. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for Wanda. Definitely recommend to anybody who collects these Marvel Legends figures, especially if you collect the MCU figures. Even if you're somebody who just collects the comic book style figures, go ahead and pick this one up because it's just awesome in its own right, and I think she'd look good with the comic book figures even. So that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, even if you didn't, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below, and you can get more videos like this, especially if you click that bell thingy. I think that gives you, like, really annoying notifications that pop up anytime I do something, but I usually only upload a few videos a week, so it shouldn't be that annoying. You shouldn't have to put up too much. I'm not one of these dudes who does like 3 videos a day anyway. But yeah, and leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the Scarlet Witch as a character, what you think about this figure. What do you hope happens with her in the MCU? Like, personally, I want her to have, like, a good arc where she winds up in a happy place at the end. Like, I know she did some bad things. We all know she did some bad things, but she's not a bad person. Sometimes good people do bad things, and they just need to learn. And sometimes bad people do good things, and we just need to learn. Anyway, that's it for this episode. We'll talk.